Hello, everyone. Welcome in here to another edition of Trending Politics Live. My name is Clayton Kearns. Hope you guys are having an amazing Tuesday. Today is episode 18. It feels like just yesterday that I just sat down here and did the first episode. But 18 episodes now we are in, and I'm so glad to have every single person on here. So in today's episode, we're going to go over a few different things. Number one is that Joe Biden tweeted out something about Dr. Fauci that he is going to regret, and I'll tell you why in a minute. The second thing we're going to talk about is the speaker lineup for the 2020 Democrat National Convention. That is sure to be a lot of fun, if you will. And then we're going to talk a little bit about something we talked about yesterday, which is CNN basically saying that, hey, there are no networks that are anti-Trump. Yes, they actually said that, and Greg Gutfeld went off on him, and it was just incredible. So we're going to get started here by talking about something. So this video here is going to change. This video is going to change everything you know about how President Trump responded to the coronavirus. This is going to change the way you respond to the question or the criticism. President Trump should have acted sooner, okay? I've been meaning to do this video for a long time, and I'm finally, Joe Biden tipped me over the edge today. He tipped me the over edge. For that, some of you who don't know, I have a very large platform on TikTok, over 230,000 followers. If any of you are using that app, go ahead and use it. I talk about a lot of great political content there, and I've covered this subject in length. But I want to tell you about Joe Biden's tweet this morning. Joe Biden said this: "I promise you, if I'm elected, I won't waste any time in getting this virus under control." He says, "I'll call Dr. Fauci and ask him to stay on. I'll bring together top experts and leaders from both parties and chart a path forward. We'll get it done together." Now, let's remember the fact that Joe Biden definitely didn't even write this tweet, okay? It was probably one of his 22-year-old staffers who has a few pre-approved tweets that they've conjured up, and the campaign says, okay, cool, let's tweet it out. But here's the problem, is that there is this prevailing myth that President Trump didn't listen to Dr. Fauci. There's this prevailing myth that President Trump didn't listen to his experts around him. Well, right now, it's time to put that to rest once and for all. We're going to debunk it. So sit back, because this is very crucial, everyone. When someone criticizes President Trump's response, you got to be ready with an answer. You have to be ready with some sort of response, because what the left likes to do is they like to say something as if it's a fact, but they say it with so much certainty that it's hard to dispute it. You have to come prepared. So everyone always says that President Trump failed in his coronavirus response. Well, let me ask a question, okay? The left can no longer have it both ways. It's either one or the other. Either President Trump listened to his experts or he didn't, okay? They say President Trump is an idiot. Anyone who takes medical advice from him is a moron. Okay. So this person that you're calling a moron, you expected him to have intricate knowledge of a virus that nobody knew how to kill in the very beginning? This is the same moron that you're talking about. So either Trump is a moron that nobody should listen to, or he should listen to his experts. And I'm going to prove to you right now that he did listen to his experts. You see, the media, they have a love-ignore relationship with Dr. Fauci. They love him when he says something that can be construed as negative against President Trump, and they ignore him when he says something that can be construed as positive about President Trump. Dr. Fauci has actually said many positive things about President Trump's response to the coronavirus, but the media has chosen to ignore that. So we're going to get into that today. So as they said, President Trump is no expert. He's a moron. You shouldn't take any medical advice from him. Okay, good. So then what you're saying is that President Trump should have followed the advice of his of the medical professionals. Is that right? Yes. Okay. Now the left bows down to the feet of Dr. Fauci. He's a celebrity. He's throwing out the first pitches at baseball games. You have him winning awards. The left is bowing down at his feet. So let's see what this famous expert was saying about the coronavirus not too long ago. I'm going to take you right now to an interview on February 18th. This so-called expert who apparently has all the knowledge in the world about infectious diseases, this is what he was saying on February 18th. Let me share the screen with you, and we're going to play the clip here. Notice how he says that the risk for the American people is low, and this was in mid-February.
Dr. Fauci, coronavirus, of course, has been in the news so much. People are worried. Should they be worried? Are they worried unnecessarily? And what should they be doing?
No, I don't think people should be frightened. I mean, the risk right now, today, currently, is really relatively low for the American public, but that could change because what's going on outside of the United States.
So now, to be fair, Dr. Fauci did say, but that could change. But we're going to show you another clip 11 days later where he was saying the same exact thing. So far, here's what we've documented. On February 18th, Dr. Fauci said that the risk for the American people is relatively low. So should Trump have shut down the country in February? Absolutely not. Now we're going to go to February 29th when Dr. Fauci was asked again about the same exact thing. So let's hear right from his mouth. Here we go. I'm going to play the clip for you right now. Here we go.
America. People are waking up right now with real concerns about this. They want to go to malls and movies, maybe the gym as well. Should we be changing our habits? And if so, how?
No, right now, at this moment, there is no need to change anything that you're doing on a day-by-day basis. Right now, the risk is still low, but this could change.
So again, to be fair, once again, Dr. Fauci does say, but things could change. Well, how much of an expert is he? He keeps hedging his bets. He keeps playing both sides of the coin. Okay, well, I'm going to show you another clip that's going to really blow your mind. So far, what has our timeline shown? Okay, let me go back in time a little bit. In late January, President Trump is constructing the White House coronavirus task force. January 31st, President Trump stops travel from China. Now, it was from foreign nationals. People with green cards and American citizens could get back in. We're not going to leave them stranded in a foreign country in the middle of a deadly outbreak. Okay, that's that. So President Trump stops travel from China. The next day, Joe Biden comes out and says President Trump needs to stop being so xenophobic. Liberal news network says that the travel ban is unnecessary. Now let's fast forward. Dr. Fauci on February 18th says that the risk is low for the American public. And I just showed you a clip of February 29th of Dr. Fauci saying that there is nothing you need to do to change in your normal daily habits right now in the coronavirus. So this infectious disease expert, over almost a month after we shut down travel from China, is saying there's nothing you need to do to change your habits. He's not saying to wear masks. He's not saying to socially distance. So let's now take a look at what he said on March 9th. March 9th. He says, if you want to go on a cruise, go on a cruise. Watch this.
If you're a healthy young person, that there is no reason, if you want to go on a cruise ship, to go on a cruise ship. Personally, I would never go on a cruise ship because I don't like cruises. But that's another story. But the fact is that if you have the conditions that I've been speaking about over and over again to this group, namely an individual who has an underlying condition, particularly an elderly person that has underlying condition, I would recommend strongly that they do not go on a cruise ship.
So now that's very important. Now, my final time of being fair, he does say if you are young and healthy. But here's the part about that, is that just about, so that was March 9th. About 10 days later, we shut the country down. So our infectious disease expert on March 9th was saying, hey, if you want to go on a cruise, go on a cruise. I don't like going on cruises, so I wouldn't go on one. But hey, if you're young and healthy, go on one. 10 days later, we shut the country down. We shut the country down. So who is more on top of it? Now what people are going to say is, okay, well, Fauci got it wrong. Yes. But you guys were telling Trump to listen to Fauci. You were telling President Trump to listen to Dr. Fauci. And guess what? He did. He did listen to Dr. Fauci. A couple months ago on trendingpolitics.com, I wrote a column about this very subject, laying out all the arguments I'm laying out right now. And so I'm going to show you this quote here from Dr. Fauci during an April 14th. It was actually April 13th, but it was an April 13th press conference, okay? Dr. Fauci said that President Trump took every recommendation given to him, even though he knew it was going to have adverse effects on the economy. But he did it for health purposes. Why? Because the medical experts were telling him to. So let's read Dr. Fauci's direct quote from that press conference. This is from Dr. Fauci. The first and only time that Dr. Birx and I went in and formally made a recommendation to the president to actually have a quote unquote shutdown, obviously, there would be concern by some that, in fact, that might have some negative consequences. Okay, we're right here. Nonetheless, the president listened to the recommendation and went to the mitigation. Then Dr. Fauci makes it even better. He says, the next time that I went with Dr. Birx in to the president, we said, 15 days are not enough. We need to go to 30 days. Obviously, there were people who had problem with that because of the potential secondary effects. Here's the key point, everyone. Nonetheless, at that time, the president went with the health recommendations and we extended it another 30 days. So there you have it. From the horse's mouth. I didn't mean that in any bad way, okay? But what I'm saying is from Dr. Fauci's mouth. So now that I've laid out all this evidence over the last 10, 15 minutes, let's see what we have laid out. In late January, President Trump is constructing his White House coronavirus task force. January 31st, he bans travel from China from foreign nationals. Okay. February 18th, he is telling the American people that the risk is low for the United States of America. February 29th, he is saying there is nothing you need to do to change your daily habits. He wasn't saying to wear a mask, to socially distance. March 9th, he is saying that if you want to go on a cruise, go on a cruise. And guess what? He's not wearing a mask in mid-March, is he? Around that time, guess what he was also saying? Masks might stop a couple droplets, but it's not going to do much, okay? Then in April, Dr. Fauci is saying, President Trump listened to the 15-day mitigation, and then he listened to the 30-day mitigation. Now, that should be all very clear. So if anybody wants to repeat this video, play it many times as can. But here is a little bonus. Here's a little cherry on top. Let's say that despite all of that, let's say that President Trump would have went against Dr. Fauci's advice. If President Trump would have went directly against Dr. Fauci's advice, because Dr. Fauci was not saying to shut the country down in February. Dr. Fauci was not saying to shut the country down in early March, was he? Was he? If President Trump would have shut the country down against what Dr. Fauci was saying, the media would have lost their ever-loving mind. They would have melted down across the networks. It would have been crazy. But here's the cherry on top. Who else remembers what was happening in early March? March 3rd, 4th, and 5th, around that area? Super Tuesday. In February, they had the Iowa caucus for the Democrat Party. And in early March, they had Super Tuesday for the Democrat Party. Someone please tell me what kind of headlines would have come out if President would have issued a countrywide lockdown right in the middle of the Democrat primaries. The headlines would have screamed, President Trump fears Bernie Sanders. Because if you guys remember, Bernie Sanders was surging during those times. They would have said President Trump fears Bernie Sanders' popularity as he interferes in the 2020 Democrat primaries. President Trump interferes in the election once again with a tyrannical shutdown. These are the kind of headlines that we would have seen, people. So when anyone ever tells you ever again that President Trump should have acted sooner in the coronavirus, President Trump should have shut down the country earlier, or President Trump should have listened to his health experts, just remember everything that I just talked about here and the timeline of events that actually happened. The media and the left love to talk about Dr. Fauci when he's saying anything that could be construed as negative against President Trump, and they love to ignore Dr. Fauci when he says things like, when I went into President Trump and said 15 days, he went with it. When I told President Trump 30 days, he went with it. Okay? So everybody, please comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. Let me know if there was anything that you think I should have added in. I know there are many other complex issues about this whole coronavirus thing, but at its very root core, everyone on the left is worshiping Dr. Fauci, giving him trophies, awards, making him into a celebrity. He is God to them. And by the way, Dr. Fauci, even last week, or I believe it was about 10 days ago, said that President Trump's travel shutdowns, okay, saved lives. He said that during his congressional testimony, that the shutdowns, that the travel bans saved lives. They saved lives. Yet the media doesn't care because, as I've always told you guys, if Trump is for it, the media is against it, even if it saves lives. So that's what I have to say about that, everyone. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. Now we're going to continue on to our next topic here. And oh boy, we have a doozy of a lineup schedule here for the 2020 Democrat National Convention. Let me pull it up here. Wow. Guys, they're coming out swinging, right? They are starting their event with a very, very committed socialist, where at times you can tell if he's an actual communist or just a Democrat socialist. On Monday of next week, the Democrats are starting their event with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, right here, people. Right here, Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo, who has by far, his state has the most coronavirus deaths by far. Why? Because this man right here sent sick people into nursing homes where people are the most vulnerable. We've got the failed Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who has imposed tyrannical guidelines on her people. Who else we got? We got Michelle Obama. That's going to be a hoot, right? On Tuesday, we've got Chuck Schumer, crying Chuck Schumer. Sally Yates? Why is Sally Yates, who used to be in the Trump administration, why is she speaking at the Democrat National Convention? You'd almost think that there's a bias against President Trump and our intelligence community. I don't know. They're bringing in Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on Tuesday. That should provide us with many, many video clips. And then they're bringing in Bill Clinton, the man who was just caught in a depositions saying that he was on Epstein Island with 2 young girls. They're going to bring that man on stage. Oh, but wait, there's more. We're not finished yet, people. We are not finished. Because then the next 2 days are even better. Then they're starting off Wednesday with Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Warren to start off Wednesday. Like, honestly, I don't know how much worse it can get than that. The only reason I could justify watching this is for comedic purposes or for playing some type of drinking game. I'm not a big drinker, but then, of course, the vice presidential nominee, yet to be named, and then Barack Obama on Wednesday night. And then Thursday, we've got Cory Booker, Spartacus, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden, the man himself, who, by the way, is not even going to make the trip to the Democrat National Convention. He's going to give his speech from his basement in Delaware. Now, this may have changed. I don't know. This may have changed. But the last I heard, he was giving his speech from his basement in Delaware. Can someone please tell me how Joe Biden expects to be the president of the United States when he's not going to even travel? Do you know how many people President Trump has to come into contact with? Do you know how many people President Trump has to interact with, talk with, how many times he has to travel? What on earth would Joe Biden do if he actually ever was? What would he do if he ever was president? That's the crap out of me. But either way, guys, next week we are going to bring you some coverage, and these podcasts are going to be full of some fun things, you guys, because they are going to give us a lot of material to work with. Some outlandish things are no doubt going to be uttered. Some radical ideas. Communism is going to be in its full-fledged everything. So just be prepared, guys. If you're not already liking Trending Politics on Facebook or on YouTube, please subscribe. Please like this video so that Facebook knows to put this in your newsfeed because, guys, next week, Monday through Friday, is going to be a doozy, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait to cover it, okay? And the final thing I want to talk about with you all is that as I opened up the show yesterday with telling you guys is that CNN, the video that I showed you yesterday was not satire. It was not satire at all. CNN sat there with a straight face and said, there are only media networks that are designed to take out Joe Biden and none to do that against President Trump. They said that with a straight face. Well, yesterday they got the Greg Gutfeld treatment. So sit back and enjoy Greg Gutfeld go absolutely off.
To be this dumb.
When you see entire media companies essentially exist to tear down Joe Biden, is there an equivalent to that on the left tearing down Trump?
There really isn't. And, you know, what I would say, it's really a diet of this type of information that a lot of these voters are getting.
So wait, there's no anti-Trump network? Wow, even CNN admits nobody watches CNN. But look, even if you despise Trump, you got to admit this deception dares you to laugh in its face. There isn't an anti-Trump media company. Hell, there might be 24 with CNN leading the hair on fire pack. The only reason every Trump book goes to #1 is because it has 2 cable networks doing its PR, which explains why 2 recent massive surveys say media is overwhelmingly biased and cannot be trusted. If only this delusional thinking were relegated to the silly world of politics or Brian Stelter's head. But it's not. The same people who deny this reality deny a lot of far uglier facts. Rising murder rates, shootings, looting, property destruction, attacks on the elderly, killings by released felons, attacks on free speech, riots described as peaceful protests. And remember how the media pretended that defunding the police was a reasonable ask? For this to succeed, they had to bury reality, like Gallup's survey showing that over 80% of blacks and Hispanics want the same amount or more police. Funny how the white anchors never bring that stuff up. But in order for a left-wing view of the world to exist, you must pretend none of that other bad stuff exists, meaning the consequences of left-wing action and Democratic leader inaction. You can thank a media and the left working together to preserve their power. Meanwhile, Stelter also denies the reality of Joe Biden's decline.
This is Joe Biden out there on a vigorous bike ride. Not wearing a helmet, but definitely wearing a mask, by the way. Fox's narrative and talk radio's narrative for months has been that Joe Biden is falling apart. You just heard Ben Shapiro say it, falling apart. And there he is riding a bike, out for a bike ride.
Cool. So if you ride a bike, you can be president. That's good news for these fellas. Yep, check them out. You know, I got my money on the pug. What can I say? He's got a sound fiscal policy.
Okay, so Greg Gutfeld gave him the business, and I'm glad that he did, okay? By the way, Greg Gutfeld just came out with a new book. I'm actually trying to get him on the show here, but go buy Greg Gutfeld's latest book. It's really great. So what's funny about that clip about Brian Stelter is that he said Joe Biden's not wearing a helmet, but he's wearing a mask. When you're on a bike going downhill, I would imagine that not wearing a helmet puts you at more physical danger than not wearing a mask. I mean, honestly, like I've fallen on motorcycle, on scooters and bikes before, and there was one time where I fell right on my head. The helmet split in half, and honestly, you guys, if I wasn't wearing a helmet that day, I wouldn't be here today. But this guy is not even wearing a helmet, but he's wearing a mask, keeping all that oxygen. Guys, I don't get it, but I hope you guys enjoyed that clip of Greg Gutfeld because it brought a smile to my face. He never misses. He absolutely never misses. So, everybody, I want to thank you guys so much once again for being here. I'm going to be back tomorrow at the same time. Go to trendingpolitics.com. We're pumping out tons of content every single day. Make sure you do that. If you guys have your smartphones handy, go to your app store and download the Trending Politics app. We send out push notifications every single day. If you guys want some pro-Trump merchandise, ilovemyfreedom.com. We have a whole team of people in Kansas fulfilling items, taking your orders, taking your shipments. We have a customer service team always there to help you guys. So go to ilovemyfreedom.com. We've got shirts, hats. We've even got face covers. Look, guys, none of us like to wear the face masks. But hey, if they're going to make us wear them, we might as well trigger some people in the process. And we got some brand new Second Amendment masks, Trump 2020, pro-police masks, a lot of great things going on. So everybody, I want to once again thank you guys all so very, very much. You guys have no idea how much I enjoy doing these and hearing your guys' feedback. So thank you guys once again. I wish you guys all a great rest of your Tuesday. Make sure to give us a shout out at trendingpolitics.com. Make sure to like this post here so that Facebook and YouTube know to show you our content more in your feed. If you are watching this on YouTube or Periscope, please make sure to subscribe to our channel. And if you're watching this on Facebook, engage with this post, share it, like it, so that you never miss an episode. Okay, everyone? So I want to thank you guys all. You guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow.